Bloggy Friend Show.
What's up, my Bloggy friends? Famous Ashley Grant here, and I just want to welcome you to the Bloggy Friends Show. We're so excited to have you join us on this journey of sharing our knowledge and experiences with you. Whether you're a blogger, a content creator, or just someone who's interested in learning more about the digital world, we've got something for you. So grab your notebook and a pen to take some notes, or just sit back and take in all the amazing information and ideas we're about to share with you. Let's get into it.
So yeah, Dawn, I'm so excited to jam with you on Cutefetti. Now, where in the world did you get the idea for Cutefetti, and how did your whole journey with it begin?
Well, my whole thing started with just couponing. Surprisingly, I was just really big on couponing. And then one day, a friend of mine online friend of mine that was couponing and talking in forums, I found out she had a website and I saw what she was doing. And I was like, oh, I really didn't even know that existed. So next thing you know, I'm like, let me try this for myself. And I started a coupon blog. And then I started seeing, oh, people are sharing recipes online and doing this and doing that. And I was like, I got so busy doing the blog that I wasn't even couponing as much. So I kind of lost interest in that blog, generally speaking. And I saw what everyone else was doing with like recipes. And I'm like, let me try that now. So I switched to it was called Homemaking Hacks, actually. So I did that for a while. And then eventually I was like bored of that. And then I was like, I just really liked cute things. I'm like, what kind of name, what can I do to kind of rebrand that really just feels like exactly what I'm feeling in this moment? And a little brainstorming session, Cutefetti was born.
That's awesome. I love that. So how did the name come to you for it?
I kind of find myself being someone that likes like quirky, cute, like catchy names. Like I'm kind of, dare I say, kind of good at coming up with them. So I just kind of was like, let me just put my thinking cap on. What are some key things that I'm trying to convey here? And then I just put them together and came up with that. And as soon as I did, I was like, yes, that's exactly it.
That's awesome. And it's funny that you mentioned the coupon blogging because a lot of people may not remember this about me, but I actually ran Tampa Bay Freebies for a while. And so it's interesting that you and I have that kind of in common about like how to save money and things like that. But I agree with you completely. I started getting so into it that I was not taking advantage of the freebies anymore. And I was so busy writing that it was like, okay, well, what am I doing here? So I totally get the idea of needing to rebrand and do something that feels a lot more fun. So, and all of your stuff is super fun. Like, I mean, how did you get the ideas for like the color schemes and the things that you would use to make your brand pop?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I think I'm just like really particular about certain things. And like when I see the right color combination, it just I'm like, I know it's right. Like it's hard to even put to words, but just, when I see the right things come together, I just get a feeling like, yes, this is it. And that's kind of it, really. There's no science behind it. Also my husband is kind of a graphic designer and stuff like that. So it was really easy at the time for me to like kind of put things together visually. And he kind of helped me with that logo and the colorings and things like that, putting it all together. He doesn't really do that anymore, side note, but at the time it kind of came together beautifully and there it is. And yeah.
So how long have you been running Cutefetti?
That's a really good question. I was like, I really need to figure that out before I get on with you. And then I got totally sidetracked. It's been like around 15 years since I've been blogging in general, since I started my first blog. But Cutefetti, I want to say, is maybe 8, 9 years old, something around those lines. It's the same blog. I just basically rebranded everything. So Cutefetti, technically about 8 years.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, 15 years, though, as a blogger, that's not something you hear people say anymore these days. I mean, I personally have been blogging since 2009. But when I talk to most people, they're like, oh, yeah, I just started it a couple of years ago. I'm like, no, we're the OGs. We've been doing this a while.
It's a whole different thing.
It really is. And so you've kind of been here with me with all the changes and the ebbs and flows. And so you've been through Google Panda with me. You've been through the Google Helpful Content update, which, let's be honest, was anything but. But so I'm curious with all the algorithm changes and the content changes and all that jazz. What have you seen as you've started your blog from then to now?
That's a really good question. Generally speaking, I could just say like no other thing, like career or hobby or whatever, has seen so many changes. So I just feel like at this point, I'm kind of an expert at picking up the pieces and redo and starting something like new within the same grouping. Like I just feel like I'm so versatile now. Like it's just insane. Like obviously I have reread it, along the way to kind of go towards my likings. Um, but yeah, like just one minute you're making great ad money and the next minute you're not. And then you are again. And then, okay, this is completely not happening anymore. And then you get a new opportunity. It's like one door closes, another opens. And I just feel like it's like this continuous thing that always keeps me on my toes. But it's kind of just amazing how much opportunity there really is if you really stick to it and you're really just like dedicated and like committed to it. So yeah, there's nothing has really been steady except for change.
That's a really good way to put it. And I mean, I was speaking to an agency owner on Monday who's actually closing their doors because of AI. And, the big thing that we were talking about in that meeting is, it used to be that with blogging and with business, you had to pivot about every 6 months because about every 6 months is when things were happening with Google. Now it seems like it's every week. So, what would your advice be to people who are trying to keep up in the age of AI now?
That's really tough. Just I think the bottom line is just really stick to like what you believe in. Like if you like to share, real food and not AI food, like just keep chugging along, keep pushing it, keep talking about it. Um, there really is no right or wrong. It's really just like commit to it and just follow through. That's really the only main advice I can say because everything else is just I might fail next week. I don't know, but I just know I'm committed to continuously just pushing forward and trying.
That's awesome advice. It really is. And the funny thing is, I think what we're going to see cuz a lot of the consumers, they're getting tired of seeing AI generated recipes. And the food images that are put on these AI blogs, sometimes you can tell without the shadow of a doubt that that is not what they cooked. They did not create that, especially when it has like additional fingers that are not supposed to be there in the image, or you see it's talking about like an apple pie, but you can tell that that is not apple, it's pear. Like just things like that. And I think what we're going to see as the days come is we're going to start really craving more authentic content. And so I think that's why people resonate with your stuff, is because it feels more authentic than all that AI generated crap. So now I noticed that you're on Instagram, you're on the Facebook. What was it that made you start getting on social media, and how is it that you're promoting yourself and your brand on those platforms?
Well, I will tell you, like when Instagram came out, I really did not want to get on. It took me a really long time. I'm not really like one to jump on any type of bandwagon because I just for no reason other than I'm always so busy and wrapped up in like what I'm currently doing that like sometimes I'm just not ready for that. So but like, okay, at some certain point, everyone's doing it, and now people, brands are hiring to do that, and they're looking for that, and it's, everyone's like, it's really important. So eventually, like, I'll cave in. But with Facebook, I think it was kind of immediate. I don't really remember like when I even signed up, to be honest with you, but it was kind of something I did like very shortly after I ever started a blog. Um, and I've let it kind of linger sometimes for years at a time. Like nothing was happening. I wasn't getting traffic. I wasn't getting much interaction. So I'll just be like, put that on the back burner. So it's just up and down, sometimes I'm putting all my energy there. Sometimes I'm putting it somewhere else. I don't know. I think I lost track of the question, but generally speaking, yeah, I try to be a little bit all over the place, but not to drive myself crazy because honestly, working on social media, as you definitely know, can be extremely taxing. So, you have to be kind of cautious and careful and pick and choose where you're spending your time and energy to keep your own, sanity.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the numbers, it's clear that you're doing well because you've got more than 40,000 followers on Instagram. You've got, goodness, 254,000 followers on Facebook. What would you say led you to those kinds of numbers? Like, was it just consistent posting, or what was it that kind of drew people to your page?
That's a really good question. It's hard to say because, like I said, there's just been so many different things that have worked and hadn't worked. Right now, like with Facebook. I'm spending a lot of energy on there because of the creator program. That's really why I started to try doing different things over there. And I'm kind of just using that as a guide to know what to do. It'll give you, like, Facebook actually will give you tips if you kind of listen to them, like how to get on their rising creator list and how to, what you should do this week, like weekly challenges and stuff like that. So when I started to see like, oh, this is actually like worth looking into. I started to just like, you know what, every day I'm going to post this many times. I'm going to look at the analytics, see exactly what people like, and try to like keep posting that kind of stuff and keep creating that kind of stuff. Um, but like everything else, it's been really a learning process, but I kind of like use this always comes to mind when I'm trying to do the things like the more you know, the less you know. So it's kind of
So true.
one of those things where
Yeah.
it's like one minute I'm like flying high. I'm like, oh, this is totally working. This is amazing. And the next week, it's just down. But I just try to look, if you just keep being consistent, that's really just like all that matters. So I just kind of stick to that, keep plugging along. As far as Instagram, I gained those followers like a really long time ago. So I really don't have any like current tips. I don't want to say gave up on Instagram, but I don't put a lot of energy there at the moment, except for like a couple of side projects that I'm testing out. So I kind of, if I do spend time on Instagram now, it's kind of like a little bit more on the side, with, kind of like testing different things to see what works and what doesn't work. So I think from what I see on social media, I think definitely being very consistent is really what really matters, and being very, very much fine tuned into what you're doing. I'm not really like a fine-tuned person. Like I really like a variety of things and it's hard for me to like hone in, but I definitely see people are having the best success when they are very consistent and very specific about what it is that they're posting all the time. So people know exactly what to expect with them. That's what I'm seeing.
That's awesome. So I can't help but notice that most of the content that you post is static images. And it does seem like with Facebook, they seem to cater more towards people who are looking at static images because they just want to look at the content and kind of keep scrolling. But with Instagram, it does seem very reels heavy and very focused on, oh, well, videos that are the only way you're going to get any traction. Would you agree with that assessment? Or are you thinking that like, oh, well, static images will work wherever?
I would say for me personally, I'm definitely having the most success with static images on Facebook. I don't really bother posting on Instagram. Like they kind of like made us think like static images were like done. So I kind of gave up on that. And now then they're like, oh, they're back. And I'm like, I haven't jumped on board with that. I'm like, I'm too busy with Facebook, I think, to even like do too much over there right now. Um, but yeah, for Facebook, static images are really performing for me. But I also see that like reels for other people are working really well. For me, they're kind of average. I'm not getting like major viral hits when I post reels there. I still do. Like a few a week, I would say. But other people I know are having like great success with reels. And I think they're trying to tap into maybe multiple kinds of viewers, readers and fans. So they have like, I think they're trying to like see like, this is maybe for these to keep the younger people involved, and this might be for like older people. Because actually, this reminds me of something I just noticed recently with my Facebook analytics, that my age group of audience has actually shifted upward, as older fans. I always was kind of like, have like a younger audience, but like now I'm noticing over these past, I don't know when it shifted, but I'm like, oh, like it seems like an older, not I wouldn't say like old, but I'm like an older group of people are interested in my static posts. So I think that the videos might be just like more appealing, like the TikTok people who are interested in TikTok and that type of thing. They're tapping into that younger audience on Facebook. But so in other words, there's room for everyone. It seems like there's content they are available for different age groups, and a video for one person, a static for another.
I mean, your page definitely gives vibes of like nostalgia, and so I think that could be one of the reasons that you're seeing so many, um, like you said, not old but older crowd, because we're all looking for something to connect to, and a lot of the things you post are so, um, yeah, they're just nostalgic, man. They get you excited about like fun stuff. It's so much more positive than the doom scrolling that most of the people are posting these days. Well, not most, but a lot of people.
But yeah, I promised myself I would not do any like rage baiting or anything like annoying. Like even if it could do wonders. Like I'm just like I have to stick to these basic things because actually I accidentally posted a waffle a waffle recently, and I accidentally called it a pancake. And oh my goodness, I got so many comments on that post, and now I see why people are so into that rage bait because everyone just had to say like that is not a pancake, that's a waffle. And I'm like, oh, oops. But I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I get it. But I'm like, I just see people doing that intentionally. My mom just sent me a video. She was like, "This video makes me so mad," and it was somebody just calling things the wrong thing. Like it's a bowl, but they're calling it a plate, and they're doing this and that just to get that obvious engagement and just annoy people. I'm like, I do not want to be that kind of person, so I'm sticking to my like just keeping it the way it is. Real foods, real things, no rage baiting, no nothing. Just
That's
keep
funny.
it real.
It makes sense because I mean, but does the rage baiting get so exhausting, right? Like to start going down that path. Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine how these creators are handling the psychological aspects of it because if you know you're intentionally going online just to piss off your audience because you're hoping they'll click, at some point don't you get tired of it, man?
Yeah, personally, I just couldn't even handle. I can't even handle the little bit of negativity that I do get on my page. So I don't even know how they mentally do that. I really don't.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because it reminds me of a story I've been telling my husband recently. There's this girl that posted on Reddit and she was talking about how she could not get anybody to help her with a problem. And so what she did is she created a second account on Reddit to answer the question that she was asking the wrong way. And then as soon as she answered it the wrong way, everybody wanted to correct her and actually gave her the helpful advice that she was looking for because she said, no one wants to help you, but they'll tell you all the reasons you're wrong.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's interesting to know.
Yes, but yeah, I agree with you completely that I would rather go a more positive route and an enjoyable route because I just wouldn't want the headaches and the stress that would come with intentionally putting something doom scroll worthy. But so back to your content. It is all very positive. It's very colorful. It's very fun. Like it is very cute. Where do you get all of the amazing content that you post on there?
You mean like on my Facebook page, for example?
Yes, on your Facebook page for sure.
Well, a lot of stuff is, obviously my own, things that I've created and things that I'm actually intentionally creating while looking at what people like on Facebook specifically. And then other times I am getting things from Pinterest. That's a really easy way to find like popular content. I would say that's probably mostly it. Or like, I do repost a lot of my content, so I kind of like go back into my own archives and from prior to when my page was really even popular, and I'll grab things from there. And I tend to just like repost or recreate things, like I said, I'm kind of just really studying the analytics and just kind of going by what people are really liking and trying to like either recreate that or just repost that or find similar images like that people want to see, and see if that works. So it's all kind of just, kind of the things that I think people have been saying all along where like, you know, um get to really know your audience and like give them exactly what they want. And that's what I'm trying to do. I think a lot of the times in the past, I've kind of just did what I want to do, which I think was fine in that time and space. But now I think it's a little more demanding when you're online. Like people really you have to kind of give them what they want. So I am just really steady looking at my analytics and just seeing what performs and trying to recreate it in different ways. Like, oh, they like this, and let me see if I can make that differently and make it stand out. Or are there other images available like that I can share that will inspire the same reaction, hopefully. So
Well, and one thing I like about the content that you share that isn't your own is you're very good about if you can't find the source, you'll say the source unknown, but you will actually credit the original creator, and that's something that I actually respect about you is because so many people that I've seen will copy content and just put it on their pages and they don't add the credit. And I'm loving that more people are calling those creators out like, "Hey, this is not yours. You need to say that," and so it's very cool that you actually credit the people. But so one of the things I can't help but notice is some of the food that because you do post a lot of food. Some of the food that you post that I can tell that you posted that you created. How in the world when you're in the kitchen do you come up with these ideas to take a piece of like let's say watermelon and turn it into a flower? How do you come up with that?
Uh, well, I've noticed that flower shaped things are in like flower platters and like flower things made out of flowers, which is really popular in the spring. Um, so truthfully, I've noticed that caprese salad has been really popular in all shapes and forms. So like in Christmas, um, there was like a Christmas tree one, a stocking shaped caprese salad, and people have just been going kind of bananas for that kind of thing. So I keep trying to think, how can I make that like for different holidays and different seasons? um, so I was just like thinking spring, you know, flowers. Everyone likes the flowers. Everyone likes the caprese. Let me see if I can like put it together. I don't think that one really came off so successfully yet, but sometimes if I can post it like a second time or a third time and then it will like pick up. So yeah, just the idea that people are really liking flower shaped foods right now because it's spring, I think, and going into summer, I think it's a good fit too. So those two things, I'm just like, let me put them together and see what happens.
So do you have like a content calendar, or do you just kind of watch the trends and post
Um,
based on that?
I will tell you, I am probably the sloppiest content creator on the planet. Like, I really have no plans, and I'm so inconsistent as a person, I think. And I get bored so very easily. So I really do not have a content calendar. I mean, some days I wake up and have a plan, then I cancel it, and I don't do anything for the day. Like today, maybe yesterday. And then other days I have this tremendous energy and I'm just like, I'm gonna nail out 3 or 4 things and then I'll just do that. So no, I mostly do not plan anything at all. Literally, I'm not even exaggerating. Like literally almost nothing I do is planned. It's just if I'm feeling it that day, I'm gonna just nail it out. Like literally, like, okay, I'll play with my pancakes. How can I take this pancake and do it 3 different ways using similar ingredients? And I think that's the beautiful thing right now about Facebook is it's like kind of it's working to do that at the moment. In the past, I haven't needed to really do that. I was more focused on creating blog posts or creating just videos for Instagram. But now I'm just like, how can I just like make the same thing but make it different? And I just need one image and it's so much actually easier than making a whole entire video with a recipe.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sure.
yeah, so I'm kind of just like trying to get the most bang for my buck when I do my hands-on work. And like I said, really not much is planned unless I'm like, oh, I want to make a cloud out of like cheese. Like I have to order a cloud cookie cutter, but that's the most planning I probably do at this point.
That's good to hear though, because I think that people that are hearing this will be a little bit relieved because it's shoved down our throats constantly that we have to have all this planning in place and all this. We have to have a content calendar. You got to live and die by the content calendar. But it sounds like literally you were getting paid to play with food.
A little bit. I think you were right.
Well, not to do a a a hard segue into the money, but that's obviously one of the things that people think about is when you're putting this kind of time and effort into something as time consuming as what you're doing. Um, they all want to know, how much does someone get paid for stuff like that? Like what kind of things can they expect from brand deals and sponsorships, which is what many influencers are trying to go after.
Yeah, that is a very, very difficult question because I don't really, sorry, make, a set amount of money from one certain thing, like it fluctuates so much. And I have a little bit, I have money coming in from here, from here, from here, various different things. And I don't just only do like only just the things that we're talking about. Obviously, I do like sometimes like photography work on the side too, like a brand photography specifically for the brand where it's never going to be on my Facebook page or my blog. So I do that too. So it's hard to say like, oh, you can do just this and make this amount of money. But I can definitely say that I do make a full-time living and I don't know like will that last forever? I've been doing it for I would say like at least 13 years of what I'm doing. I've been able to like make a full-time income, meaning I do not work out of the house. So I do not work for anybody else. So it's been fairly lucrative. I'm not going to say what I do is like tremendously like lucrative at this point. It's kind of been hard to stay afloat switching gears all the time, but somehow I kind of have managed it to be like somewhat doable. So yeah, I can't really give a number, but I can
No,
say
that's fine. You don't have to give a
but
number, but I think people just want to hear that it is still possible, even in the age of AI, that they can make money as a full-time content creator because, you know, let's face it, a lot of us yes, there are some people who are born and bred that, you work for a company, you stay with that company. And yeah, you may switch from company to company over time to try to, raise your income level and whatnot. But so many of us have that deep desire to be an entrepreneur, to be a creator, to not have to work for one specific brand. And so I think it's so fun that you get to work with more than just one company and you get to call the shots. And if you think like, hey, this brand sucks, I don't want to work with them, you don't.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm sure you've gotten some of those horror stories.
Oh yeah, and I mean I ignore a lot of my emails that I actually reply to. I'm pretty bad at that, but I'm just like the kind of person I just get so overwhelmed so quickly. I really just can't do it all, and just understanding that about myself is just the best thing that I can do to like make this work for me. But I would say like right now, Facebook is doing really great. Other people are more successful like on TikTok. I mean, people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars making content, I think. So I think the possibilities are absolutely there. And as far as me, like I said, I'm making a full-time income. It's sometimes, that's just really not consistent. So I can't say, oh, every single month this is happening, because it's not. But I have enough reliable things happening to make it work very well. I can't complain, except for the fact that I have to obviously continuously look for future things to keep that happening. But at the moment, I'm content.
Now, the traffic that you're getting to Facebook, is any of that translating to your actual website?
No, not really. Very little, probably. The thing is, a lot of people have asked me this question, because I stopped posting links on Facebook, because I believe, as far as like my audience goes, anyways, in the creator program, that I'm just getting more. I believe that Facebook. I mean, they wouldn't really be paying you, I guess, if they really wanted people to leave. So my understanding and translation of the creator program is that they want you to create content because they want people to stay and be interested and stay on Facebook, not to leave Facebook. So quite a while ago, I stopped really posting links outward, and I'm just accepting that instead of blog traffic, which was kind of not great anyways, to be honest. It was just like always a struggle anyhow, trying to get people to go over there. Um, I'm just replacing it. Like, so instead of like ad money that maybe I was hoping to earn through Facebook links, now I'm just like earning that directly on Facebook. And that's just something that once I accepted that, I, it just, it just made more sense to me, and I was more focused and more in tune with that. Because I know I mentioned this, like, not probably to you, but to a lot of people. I started to do really well with the creator program on Facebook in about like October, November. It just like really blew up to like a really big number that 1 month. And I was like, oh my goodness. And that's kind of what really pushed me into like really focusing on what works here and what doesn't. It hasn't been like as lucrative each month, but it's definitely a big number, big enough to keep me playing over there every day. um, yeah.
Curious, are you leveraging those numbers on Facebook to gain other sponsorship opportunities?
I have to say, I haven't actually done anything to seek out sponsors, because I really do feel like the sponsored content over there really isn't going to get as much action. I have done a couple things, and it really just doesn't get like the traction, that just regular organic posts do. But I am thinking like, wow, like I have a lot more going on over here, like than almost anywhere else. And it's like, I'm surprised actually that I haven't had more interest from brands just asking me organically, but I haven't actually done anything to seek that out myself. But it is an interesting avenue that to look at, possibly, maybe in the future.
So what other things are you doing other than Facebook and Instagram to promote your brand?
Um, I will tell you, not that much. I shouldn't say obviously, but I do Pinterest still. That's probably one of the main things that I do. I try to do newsletters. I'm really bad at it, to be honest, but I'm like, that's something that I really want to like pick up on, like being much better about sending out newsletters, because I definitely understand that having your own audience that you actually have access to through email is probably one of the best things you could ever do, because anything can happen to these social media platforms, obviously. So I'll send out a newsletter and do my Pinterest duties. That's really it at the moment, because I am so
Well,
hyped.
if people wanted to sign up for your newsletter, how would they find it?
That's a really great question. I don't know if I have a spot directly, but basically in each and every blog post, there's like a section that will kind of highlight that says, "Do you want this recipe sent to your email, your inbox?" And that's probably the easiest, fastest way to do it. Other than that, I think I do have a linked page. I just can't remember where it is right now.
Well, we will find it and definitely add it to the show notes. But what do you see for the future of Cutefetti?
That's very difficult. I'm every day I'm trying to like navigate that because I'm trying to just do my thing over on Facebook and keep riding that wave. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, no, just like everything else, this is not gonna last forever. So like, what can I do next? And I honestly just do not know. But one thing I am considering is doing like kind of like ebooks, maybe like themed things like cute specific food types and grouping them together. So I'm kind of thinking of playing with that, but I know it's like you kind of need social media to get to promote that too. So I'm not really sure, but that is something that I'm kind of thinking of doing at the moment. But really not much else beyond that. I'm not really sure how to like reinvent myself for the millionth time. It's always like a little work in progress.
Yes, we're characters that are constantly evolving. I have to say that. So now, one of the things you had mentioned is that you do some photography for brands that it never goes on your own website. So it's almost like ghost photography, like I do ghost writing. How do the brands that want you to take photos for them, how do they find you, and how would something like that work?
I think 90% of the time they have just found me because they either did work with me on something sponsored, or I would say 90% that I've worked with them and they liked it and they're like, we kind of want more of that, but not like through you, but for our own stuff. So what they do is contact me, sometimes ask me. I don't even really promote that about myself, but it's just kind of like landed, I would say almost in my lap, because of the work that I've done with them previously. So there's just yeah, I have like a handful of people that just will come to me whenever they need something, basically. Like it's not really like anything like long-term contracts, but like every time they just need something impromptu or they want this or that, they'll just contact me and 90% of the time I'm able to do it. So
That's awesome because I can definitely relate to that because I never like whenever I began ghostwriting, that wasn't something I was seeking. It fell in my lap. It was a person saw that I was writing for brands under my own name, and they were like, "Hey, I want what you do, but for me with my name." So I completely understand that, and it's interesting to think of it though because as creators, if we're trying to come up with new ways to make money, looking at the different avenues of ways that you can use what you're already using, the skills you can already leverage to make money outside of just what you're already doing. I think it's exciting to kind of figure out how you can play the game so you can keep playing the game.
yeah, because I think the one true thing is that I do love creating I just do. Like if I don't do it on a regular basis, I just feel like that word like crickets like I just like you just heard from me. So like yeah, at first I really didn't like the idea of creating things for other people like a few years ago, but then I'm like, you know what, I don't mind because then I don't have to like sit there, I don't have to like post it, I don't have to schedule it, I don't have to like write up something about it, I don't have to like respond to all the comments and take all this energy. I'm like, I just like do what I like to do and then like here you go, now you do something with it. And so actually, I ended up really liking it.
It kind of gives you the best of the both worlds. You may not get the credit, but at least you get the cash.
Exactly. Yes, we can't complain about that.
That's awesome. So now if someone came to you and they're like, "Hey, I love what you do. I've never done anything like this before. How do I get started?" What would you say to them?
That's a good question. I mean, I started so long ago, so I'm not sure exactly. But I mean, I guess just fine tuning what it is that you want to do. Like, do you want to be creating videos all the time? So would like TikTok be something that you're more into signing up for? I think basically just writing down, like take a good old recently I'm just like, you know what? I need to start writing things down on paper. It's just so much more meaningful, I think. Just writing down what it is that your goals are. And to get started, just, fine tuning the goal before you even ever sign up for social media is probably the best thing that you could do. Spend that time and energy making a plan before you invest in all this, you know, stuff.
Well, and I mean, I think there's also something to be said about like, the people that want to start but they don't want to put their face on it. There's a lot of faceless content. I mean, your face is barely relevant on the page. We hardly ever see you. We mainly see your food. So there's the opportunity there that even if you don't want to be the face of something, you can still create the content.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Oh gosh, yes, I definitely agree with that. I've actually been fighting not to show my face since I started. I'm like, everyone's always like, you have to show your face, you have to do this, you have to do that.
But like, why though?
I know sometimes some says I have to do it. I'm like, I don't think so. So I feel like proud of myself for actually getting by this much without actually being the face forward. I mean, I actually I'm really happy about that. I will say though that I do feel like there's more and more pressure to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be probably maybe a little bit easier to like get people like, having an emotional attachment to you if they can obviously see your face and they like what they see or whatever and they get connected with you on like that personal level. But I'm still over here like, I'm kind of maybe surprisingly like a little bit like of a like introvert, and I really don't like to be the center of attention. I prefer. So you kind of made my day when you said that. Like people see the food, and that's kind of like my brand. I want them to see that first. I don't want them to worry about like me. Okay, I'm just like putting these cool things out over here, and I'd rather people see that than me. It's not really like something I want to be doing. So
Hey, I get it. I completely get it. That's why we're doing this on a podcast instead of on a YouTube channel.
exactly, I'm just like I would rather be recognized for the food and the things I'm doing more than like what I look like and who I am and like how I styled my hair because I'm not really good at it. So let's just keep it the way it is. So, but
It's like, why do you need to know what I look like? Just look at how pretty the food is.
exactly. My food is flawless. That's sorry about it.
And I do have a lot of, some of the food you post, it even if I've just eaten lunch, I'm already hungry. Cause like it's the type of stuff that you post that it's like, I want that. Give it to me now.
Yes, me too. It's kind of difficult. It's like, oh, yes.
Yeah, and that's what made me want to talk to you so badly is I've been consuming your content for years, and just as I was seeing your numbers growing, and then I saw like I think it was in March you posted 200K was your new number of followers, and then just a little bit later like we're at 240K. I'm like, holy cow! Like, people met this. This is a big deal.
I can't even believe it, to be honest. Like, I'm like, what? What? Because I think I had 90,000 fans for like a decade, like, honestly. So I really just didn't think it was ever going to go anywhere, like, But I'm like,
Do you think it's because you increased the frequency of what you post?
um, oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, the creator program, because I don't know if I would have tried as hard if I didn't see like results eventually, because you can only go so long without seeing major growth or you getting something from it hits to your blog or something else. So that kind of just like really motivated me. Um, to really just like fine tune, like I said, just like really see what people are liking and try to just continuously like replicate that if I can. Um, and I think that energy is finally like translating to these numbers. And I think also, there's a degree of it that's not really in your hands too. Obviously like algorithms and this and that, or timings or what's trending and where you're fitting in and are people liking it too. Like there's just that certain element that's not in your hands. So it's just like, I think Facebook created the environment for people like me, and I'm riding that wave, and it's like they're recommending my page to people. Like, there's a section, I don't know if you noticed, that it'll tell you whether or not they're recommending you for people to follow. So I think, I'm riding that golden streak. They're recommending me and they're doing it all the time. Every day I'm getting new followers, and it's just, I don't know when it will stop, but hopefully not anytime soon.
Well, one of the things you mentioned earlier, I kind of want to go back to, you said that Facebook actually tells you what you should be posting. Where do people find that?
That's a good question. I'm not sure because I have like the professional, tools, and I am signed up for the creator program. So there's certain messages that you'll get through the creator program. Um, I think a lot of it is being, signed up as a creator that they'll give you those tips. I mean, you can like opt in for them, I think.
Okay.
And different.
And I'm sure you could change your page from like a fan page to a business page.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yes, I don't know if fan pages have it because I just don't have that at the moment. But yeah, if you kind of just like look in the back end, there's definitely a lot of like tips available. You can even like sign up for different prompts and stuff like that. So
Well, yeah, there's definitely resources out there. I know that for a fact because this morning myself, I actually was watching the Reels webinar from Instagram. Meta sent it out, and I was just like, I didn't even know it existed, but there it was. So yeah, I think that if we start looking for the answers that we're seeking then we can actually find some really good resources. So speaking of resources, I have to ask, how can people find you online?
Well, most definitely, please visit me at cutefetti.com. And then if you have a spare moment, also go to facebook.com/cutefetti and you will see lots of things happening every day. I post like about 14 times or more a day. So there's a lot of action over there. I'd say that's where I'm putting most of my energy in right now. So come visit me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you just answering these questions. And I think a lot of what you've said is actually going to resonate with people that are thinking about starting stuff like this. Because, I mean, let's face it, we're in the age of the influencer. Everybody wants to be online, or not everybody, let's be honest. But a lot of people want to be online, and they want to build some sort of a following. And I think that what you're building is it's just cute.
Aw, thank you.
So, but before I let you go, is there anything I didn't ask you that you really want to share with the audience that you think they need to hear?
Oh my goodness.
That's my only on the spot question.
That is on the spot. I don't want to be unmotivating, so let me come up with something. I think really just don't give up, basically. Just, keep striving, even if something fails, because I fail all the time. I mean, literally, like I have like 50 Instagram accounts and like a million different ideas that I come up with on the side, and I have failed all of them, obviously, except for Cutefetti. So, just keep at it, don't give up. And also, probably the biggest tip ever is do not spend too much time on social media, especially when you're trying to be creative on your own. Because if you just look at too much of what everyone else is doing, it can easily just sabotage you. It could just make you feel like, oh, I could never keep up with that. Oh, I could never do that, and I think that's untrue. So just put social media aside sometimes, even if that's where you want to be for work and creating. Give it a rest and just free your mind a little and just get your priorities straight. You can do this.
Ironic hearing that from a social media creator.
I know
Put down the phone and go create something.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's true.
I think that's a fantastic note to end it on. Just put your phone down and go create something.
Exactly. And then come back to post it, and then please take another break. You need it.
Yes. And then if you do come back, also follow Cutefetti.
Oh, yes. And if you're going to be on there anyways, you may as well visit. So
absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much, Dawn, for being here. And we will put all your links in the show notes. And I appreciate everything you said, because everything you said is exactly what I expected to hear. And just when you say things I expect, it makes me a happy Ashley.
Aw. Well, that's really cool, because I did that as well for sex. And I just want to thank you for having me, because, I just felt like really flattered. I'm like, I don't normally do stuff like this, but I'm like, you know what? That is like extremely flattering that you even wanted to like talk to me. With so many just different things. And, it's just like I made it this far, and like someone actually wants to talk to me. This is amazing. So I really appreciate that you saw something valuable in me and you messaged me, and here we are.
You do have a lot of value to offer. And I hope that people will take from this that they too can experiment and play, because, even if you're not playing with your food, if you're playing with makeup or something else entirely, there's so much opportunity online, and we might as well have as much fun as humanly possible, because we only have so many days here. So
I absolutely agree with that so much.
Well, my bloggy friends, I hope you enjoyed all the insights our guests had to share with you. To get the show notes for this and all episodes, go over to famousashleygrant.com/podcast. And until next time, may your page views be high and your bounce rate be low.